Good morning, it's Caroline from Mindset Hub. Hope you're having a good day. Just wanted to talk very briefly about how our thoughts can impact on our mood and our behaviour. I don't know if you've noticed, but sometimes we can have those negative automatic thoughts pop into our mind against our will. They just pop in there and they might stem from a belief that we have about ourselves, such as I'm not good enough. And that might kind of pop up, that belief, when we don't realise it, and it can really impact on our mood. So an example of a negative automatic thought could be I'm not a great mum. So that's one that I could identify with in terms of because I'm a mum. So if we've got that negative thought about I'm not a great mum, what can we do about that? So what we can do is first of all notice the thought, notice that we're having that thought, maybe write it down, so I'm not a great mum. And then what we can do is look at evidence that supports that thought, that you're not a great mum, and evidence that doesn't support that thought, that you're not a great mum. So we might find some evidence that supports the thought about not being a great mum, such as being late for the school run. And then we might find some evidence that doesn't support that thought, such as that I pick my children up every day, I get them dressed and clothed, and I take them to school, and I look after them really well. So we can go back and forth looking for evidence that supports the thought and that doesn't support the thought. And then when we've gathered all that evidence, and it might only take us about 10 minutes, then we can kind of look at that evidence that supports the thought and that doesn't support the thought that I'm not a great mum, and we can kind of weigh it up. And then what we can do is come up with a more balanced thought that is actually more of a true reflection on how things really are. And then that can challenge that thought about not being a great mum. So we could end up with a different thought, a more realistic thought, based on weighing up the evidence that we've got that supports the negative thought and doesn't support the negative thought. So we could come up with a new thought, such as I'm a good enough mum. And then when we can start saying that to ourselves, I'm a good enough mum, that's really going to have a positive, powerful impact on how we feel about ourselves. And the more we think about those more balanced, realistic thoughts, that's really going to improve our mood. So I would invite you to try that out today and see how you get on with that. Have a good day.